At the core of the gun show inquiry are three nodes. These three nodes have sort of intersecting pathways. And first one up here, I'm going to call hunches. This one over here would be feelings. And then we have facts, stats, cold hard facts. The first node, hunches. I have a bunch of hunches. To boil it down for this video, I have a hunch that white people, or that white culture more specifically, is afraid. It's afraid of losing its identity, its status, its imagined futures, ultimately its assets. And because America has been so lax at teaching white culture about marginalization, that white culture is now getting the craziest crash course ever. And learning new things is sometimes difficult. Learning new things that point to one's own shortcomings and or blind spots takes a really long time to absorb. I have a hunch that these fears and these new learnings, they sort of equal a desperate clinging to ideologies that have been forever harmful to people outside of white culture. In some ways, it's the bear we should be mindful of poking. Not to sound too white apologist-y, but because I'm not. I do think we should poke that bear. I just think that, I just have a hunch that there are other strategies that we could deploy in arriving at great change. Feelings node, not unlike things I've said before. Feeling of fear and feeling unsafe. And if I could sum it up in one word, it would be ominous. Stats, cold hard facts, node. They're all around us. We can look them up. But for example, by September 2020, the gun sales in the US will have outdone the sales of the entire year for 2019. So 2020 is looking like another record-breaking year. America is the gun capital of the planet. There are 400 million legally acquired firearms in circulation for 330 million people. So we have the most guns and the most guns per capita. Go USA. Statistically, new legislation, new gun law legislation is linked to spikes in gun sales. So for example, after a high-profile mass shooting incident and new gun law legislation is mentioned, then people just go buy more guns. How terrifying is that? So this is not really going away anytime soon. In fact, in some ways, this conversation hasn't actually really started yet. And these nodes, these feelings, these hunches, and these stats, all of them, to me, in my opinion, create an opportunity for this project, create an opportunity to inject a little bit of humanity into such a contentious topic. I want to place myself and this project and the idea of discourse in the middle of a contentious arena to see if there's another way, sort of as a last-ditch effort, perhaps, to see if there's another way than other than being subject to this divide. Gun Show will advance racial and or cultural justice by engaging in the very, very basic action of listening and seeing and allowing for the recontextualizations of our histories and our experiences in relationship to one another. This, in my opinion, is where justice work begins. In an environment where the spirit of generosity is abundant, and it can allow us to be able to identify real obstacles and perhaps real enemies, which are not white people or black or brown, but rather green. I'm not sure that Gun Show is going to address the sort of economic divide that has got us to this place we are now, but I can say with certainty that engaging in this inquiry together with my collaborators and my co-commissioners is going to provide us with the courage that we need to address something of this magnitude.